Hey guys, happy May 26th. Here's what happened today in history. For the first time ever, as I do this, I feel like a newscaster. Anyway, sorry. Whew. All right. In 1637, colonists attacked a Pequot fort on the Mystic River in Mystic, Connecticut, and this became known as the Mystic Massacre. I think over 500 Pequots died. That's a Native American tribe. In 1805, Lewis and Clark were on their journey. They were exploring out west with Sacagawea. And on this day in history, in 1805, they spotted the Rocky Mountains. And I only mention this because I absolutely love the Rocky Mountains. So much so that I got them tattooed right here on my wrist. So if I don't show up for work one day, you know that I moved to the Rockies. All right, in 1805, again, Napoleon became the King of Italy. In 1857, Dred Scott and his family were finally freed from slavery. Now, this is significant because just 3 months earlier, the U.S. Supreme Court made their landmark decision that the U.S. Constitution did not apply to people who are Black, whether they were slaves or freedmen. It did not matter. The U.S. Constitution would not apply to them. And then just 3 months later, the Dred Scott family was finally freed. In 1860, Giuseppe Garibaldi, the great unifier of Italy, occupied Palermo, which probably means nothing to you, except I'm from Palermo, Italy, and my family was there at the time. So there you go. Fun fact. In 1861, the U.S. Postmaster General Blair drew a line in the postal sand, if you will. We were just months into the Civil War. Actually, we were about 1 month into the Civil War, and he cut off our connection, our postal connection with the South. In 1927, the Ford Motor Company produced its last Model T Ford, or Tin Lizzie. They produced 15 million Model Ts, one of which sat in my garage throughout my entire childhood. It was actually really cool to sit in. In 1940, we saw the first successful helicopter flight in the U.S. In 1941, the American flag house, Betsy Ross's house, was gifted to the city of Philadelphia. In 1946, somebody filed for a patent in the United States for the hydrogen bomb, and we all know what happened after that. In 1967, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, the album, was released to the public in the UK 3 days earlier than scheduled. I'm actually playing it right now. Hopefully you can hear it. It's a fantastic album. It was #1 in the US for 15 weeks and #1 in the UK for 22 weeks. Go check it out if you haven't heard it before. Consider that your history lesson for today. In 1969, John Lennon of the Beatles and his wife Yoko Ono started their second Bed-In for Peace. They were protesting the war at the time, and they basically protested by laying in bed. And they took lots of pictures and invited the media in, and that was their form of peaceful protest. Also on that day, 1969, May 26, 1969, the Apollo 10 mission successfully landed back on Earth. And this was significant because this was a dress rehearsal for the lunar landing, our first landing on the moon. So that's pretty significant. Now, a lot more has happened on this day in history, but I couldn't find anything real positive. So, in my efforts to not end on a sad note, I leave you with this. Go listen to the Beatles. They're amazing. Happy May 26th.